Mr. J, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it. Also, everyone, great news. Tomorrow we will be playing Dungeons and Dragons on the Archcast. Everyone has confirmed. Sargon is going to be a little bit late, but it is what it is. Anyway, how was your day? Did you guys have fun? I hope so, because we're going to be discussing some really interesting things that have transpired. Apparently, Stellar Blade has allowed journalists to play, and they are absolutely livid. I assume they're livid because it's actually a good game. None of the journalists have complained about bugs. None of the journalists have complained that the gameplay is not good. But they hate it. They're giving it sevens. I don't know why. They're review bombing. It's interesting. When the journalists are review bombing a product, no one complains. Well, I mean, it's the journalists, right? Like, they're the critics. IGN also tried to get Stellar Blade into trouble for racismus, of all things. Yes, like they found racismus. Where? In South Korea. Oh, Dios mío. We're going to be discussing about it. Hardar in Stellar Blade. We got a hardar in Stellar Blade, chat. IGN discovered it. They have the snoop. 7 is a review bomb. Yes, if it's not out of spite. I mean, let me put it this way. Gone Home, which is a video game that you finish in 2 hours, is a 9.8 on IGN. I know that reviews are subjective, but like, come on, let's compare it with other things. Now, I played the demo of Stellar Blade. And I have seen Gone Home. There's no fucking way that Stellar Blade is a 7. It's definitely an 8. I guarantee to you. You know, maybe I'm wrong when the game comes out, but I guarantee to you it's going to be Game of the Year. Like, the gameplay was phenomenal. Like, I'm playing the demo. I enjoy the gameplay, especially if you're playing it on the hardest level of difficulty. It's great. The music is fantastic. There seems to be a lot going on there. You got a lot of customization options. You got a lot of other things. Now, you know, the story is going to be up to you whether you like it or not. But the visuals, and I'm not just talking about the character, but the environments as well. There is no way you can say that this is a 7. According to IGN standards. And the things that they're complaining about, it's like, why did they give it a 7? Well, according to them, the main character is not charming. The characters are not charming. Yes, so Abby from The Last of Us is probably charming, according to IGN. But the characters from Stellar Blade, like Eve, she is not charming. Alright, well, I mean, let me give you an example, right? This is a 6. We got a 6 from Video Gamer, right? If you tell me how this is not review bombing. Like by what definition this does not fit with the term? If you take just the combat and the music from Stellar Blade, you've got a fantastic game. Sadly, this is not the whole package. Now, again, the purpose of a journalist, allegedly, is to understand that the world is in financial distress. Okay? Joe Biden has managed, through his evil ways, to fuck up the economy. And it's hard for me, it's hard for you. Now, we don't have money to just go around and buy all the games and try them out. And luckily, Jesus Christ looked up at the humans and they're like, okay, Joe Biden has caused distress on planet Earth. I will give the humans the game journalist. And the game journalist is going to help the human decide how to properly spend their money by giving good reviews. Right? So, like, if a game is bad, they will tell you. If a game is good, they will also tell you. They're not doing their job, chat. Right? They're basically saying the music is good, the combat is great, but the worst thing, if I ever had any semblance of interest in the story, characters or narrative, this was properly stamped out due to the egregious level of hypersexualization of Eve, of something that is telling us a story about how the world is destroyed, while Eve is standing there in revealing bunny suit, giving these emotional reactions and trying to make you care about what happens, and it just doesn't work. I see that plump fictional ass on my screen and I have been disturbed. America has quaked as Stellar Blade showed its fat tits on my PlayStation 5, and I will never be the same. It took away my soul. It took away my humanity. This is why I give it a 6.0. And unfortunately, many such reviews. And you're asking me, how is it review bombing? Like that. I mean, you don't come into my kitchen and you're telling me, oh yeah, the gameplay, amazing, soundtrack, brilliant, but those fucking tits, man. Those fucking tits, 6.0. I mean, hyper-violence is okay, super gratuitous, mega violence, perfect. But we have to draw a line at the fictional booba. I mean, look, we're all decent people here. We are decent Americans living in California. We are surpassing the booba. We are surpassing the tits and ass. Like, what is this, 2010? Horrible. Have they no shame? Have they no dignity? Cover that ass. Put a burqa on it. And this is like many such reviews, honest to God. Like, I'm reading the reviews. And I'm wondering, like, do these people not have a single shred of testosterone? Like, didn't their fathers watch cheerleaders when they grew up? Wasn't, Baywatch a thing in America? Like, what? Oh, Dios mío. What is going on here? Where is Vinyl? Vinyl! Did I satisfy your question? Because you asked, like, is 7 a review bombing? And it's like, yes, if it's done out of spite. I guarantee to you, if I were to get 100 people, and I would have gone to, I don't know, The Last of Us 2, or to Star Wars Outlier, and I would get, like, all the 1,000 people giving Star Wars Outlier a 7 because of the aesthetics. I would say, yeah, Star Wars Outlaws, great game, great music, I love the story, but my god, that man jaw on that female character. I just can't take that game seriously. That man jaw really triggers me. 7 out of 10. Do you not think that would be review bombing? Do you think the journalist wouldn't consider that to be problematic? If I got, like, all my subscribers to do this? And I would say, well, like, again, the game is brilliant. I love the gameplay. I like the soundtrack. I like everything. But, like, look at the man jaw. Just so you guys understand what we're talking about, I'll show you a picture of the game in a bit. As soon as it's finished loading, here we go. Oh my god, it's worse than I remembered. Jesus, chat. It's worse than I remember. Holy shit. Get it off my screen. Should I show it to you? Should I inflict this upon you, chat? Oh, fine, I'll inflict it. There we go. Right. So imagine if I were to get all my subscribers and say, yeah, like, this game is great, but, like, the female character looks like a dude. I just, I can't give it more than a 7. Everything else is fine, but, the female... The same people that are attacking Stellar Blade now would freak out, and they would be like, wait, no. No. V, that's review bombing. Shame on you. Shame. They would be like, that lady from Game of Thrones with a bell. Ding, 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 shame. Ding, 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 shame. Stellar Blade is on the menu, American Outlier. Thank you for the donation. Okay, and racismus. American Outlier, cover your ears, because racism is about to happen. Now, as I mentioned before, IGN was allowed to have early access to the game. And as they were playing, they encountered the racismus. American Outlier, I hope your ears are covered, because this is dangerous. Like, such horror. And I was wondering, holy shit, can this game get any better? Like, I already bought it. You don't have to sell it to me. Does it have racism as well? Apparently it does. American Outlier, cover your eyes. Look away. Look away, my friend. I understand that you're hypersensitive to this stuff. Sony says it will remove Stellar Blade artwork that appears to reference racist slurs. Oh, Dios mío. Claiming that the phrase's inclusion was unintentional. The art, which appears to combine 2 visual elements into a single phrase, was discovered during the review process. It can be seen in the screenshot below. You know what I love? Like, this is interesting. This is muy fascinante. So, apparently this is incredibly harmful, right? Like, American Outlier should be protected at all costs from seeing something like this. Because it's damaging, right? It's dehumanizing. So we rob American Outlier of his humanity if we show it. Okay. Then why the fuck are you showing it to more people? Like, if you think that racism is so horrible and this image is so vile, why are you publishing it, IGN? Why are you showing it to your minute? Don't you have a responsibility, IGN? Do your advertisers know? See, this is what I don't understand. Like, apparently it wasn't intentional, right? Allegedly. Yeah, it's hard R, chat. It's fucking hard R. Now, what's interesting about it is that you have people, also journalists, that are posting. Let me see if I can find the soyness of it all. There was a guy that was oozing with soy. I looked at his picture. Like, unironically, there was soy coming out of my monitor. I asked my wife if she can cook some rice, because we have the soy sauce. Like, I just put the picture of the journalist on my computer, and all of a sudden, free soy sauce. And he was saying something like, well, wouldn't it be better if, I don't know, these companies, in order to avoid stuff like this in the future, they would hire consultants to sensitivity read their shit? And I'm like, so this is how the grift works. This is how the grift works. You got all these journalists like IGN and stuff doing their best in order to find problems. And then in order to avoid having those problems, you need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on Americans that lack the creativity to write anything, that lack the creativity to make any game or to even know how to code. And all they do is they sit around, they get money for doing absolutely jack shit and complaining about trivial stuff. By the way, apparently Stellar Blade got patched in less than 1 hour. Like, there is no more hard R. And the way they patched it is hilarious. Again, American Outlier, I urge you to look away. We're going to witness more of the racismus taking place. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Right, so this is the original atrocity. This is the one with, like, the hard R, right? And they patched it. And they replaced it with crime. See? Now it's fine. Oh, Jesus. What can I say? What can I say? The absolute state. Like no one whatsoever besides journalists would even notice that. Like, seriously, how many times do you guys play the game and try to actually read the graffiti on the wall and pay attention to all these details and not to mention, you know, like, don't these people want realism? Like, whenever it's about the female character, oh, she's not realistic. She doesn't look realistic. And then you're like, okay, well, why can't the graffiti on the walls look realistic? I'm pretty sure if I go on the Bronx, I will find things much more offensive than that trivial shit you posted there. American Outlier apparently was not emotionally damaged enough and managed to post this. GC leftists will look for a racist literally anywhere. I'm going to be honest, if I bought this game and I wouldn't even notice it, or I saw it and find it funny. Like, unironically, if I had the demo, I don't know if that's available in the demo or not, but I didn't see it, and if it was in the demo, I wouldn't have noticed it. And if you do notice it, exactly like American Outlier says, like, you would have laughed it off. Like, I do not believe for a second that if you spray paint this on a wall in real life, journalists are going to notice it. They only notice it because they went out of their way to find something offensive. You know it, I know it, it's the game with the controversy. They tried their damnedest in order to find anything that can be offensive and write an article. And if you don't want them to find offensive stuff, all you gotta do is you hire one of these consultants firms, right? If they would have hired Sweet Baby, obviously Eve wouldn't look like that and the hard R could have remained. They wouldn't have complained about it. How do you know it wasn't in the demo? Jesus, were you more attentive to the demo than I was? Like, I played the demo, but again, like, I didn't sit to look at the walls. Now, when I played the demo, I was listening to the dialogue. I loved the music. I looked at the environment as an overall. Like, I wasn't paying that close attention. I was reading the lore about the aliens. And I was trying to learn how to parry and how to play properly. That's what I was doing in the demo. I wasn't actually looking like, oh, hard art graffiti. Oh, no. Oh, Dios mío. This is why I don't give game journalists early game copies. Unironically, like if I was a gaming company and I wasn't making lewd games, I would just give my games to the streamers. Like if IGN asked for my game, I wouldn't give it to them. I would give it to Asmongold. I would give it to Arch. I would give it to like actual people that have a community and people that actually do watch what is played. And I would have a comment section where I could get genuine feedback. And not just moderators that ban everyone that disagrees and a community filled with bots. Hello, Joanna. Welcome to the show. Really, who would be examining the walls? I don't know. Like usually you do examine the walls, but like after you play the game for a lot, or it depends on the game, right? Like for instance, what was it? Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead had writings on the walls and you would examine them because like that was the way they would tell the story. So that made sense. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Yeah, literally, Hades is paying their protection money. Like, that is exactly the way it is, Juan. You got, like, you pay the protection money from Sweet Baby Inc. or other consultants, and all of a sudden, they leave you alone. I mean, it was this controversy started by gay journalists saying, well, actually, Aphrodite from Hades is art, and Eve is disgusting porn. Like, this is where we're at. It was a litmus test. Only those... Yeah, you know what? I'm starting... No. Holy shit. Now I understand it. Now I can see what it is. Now I can see what it is. You know, when I was young and the internet was also in its infancy, there were like these tests where you had like a woman with big boobs, right? So you had like the big fat tits on the screen. And under it was like, if you're reading this, you're gay. Because the idea was like you're needing to focus your eyes on the cleavage. If you're a straight man, right, you're looking at the cleavage. Anyone else was reading it. This is the litmus test for the journalists. And they're failing. They're not looking at the tushy. They're not looking at what they're supposed to look. They're looking at the crime. What's a litmus test? I don't know. It sounds cool, so I use it. Hello, I've been writing about how much I hate your game for the last few months. Can I get a free copy? Yeah. No, unironically though, I would give them a free copy if I was to know that they have an audience. But they don't have an audience. That's the problem. No one reads these publications. I'm curious, like, how many people actually go on IGN to get informed about the video games. By the way, there was also a little bit of a controversy, and this one is absolutely hilarious. Like, I'm going to show you. But first, before I show you the controversy, I want to mention that after I seen the article from IGN, and after I see all the journalists review bombing Stellar Blade, I decided, and especially after the racist controversy, I decided to cancel my pre-order. I'm not kidding, chat. I canceled my pre-order of Stellar Blade because of the journalists review bombing it. And what I did is I purchased the deluxe edition instead. This is the evidence that I actually did purchase the deluxe edition. As you can see, date of time of pre-order, it was yesterday. And this is the first ever deluxe edition that I have bought from any game out there. Now, this is not me being wealthy, quite the opposite. I'm not doing very well financially, I'm struggling. But this is me sending a message. It's giving a tip. It's like the Blizzard president wanted me to give a tip to gaming companies. This is me giving a tip. And there is a reason for it, because I know like some people will be like, oh my god, why are you spending money? Look, this is peak entertainment in 2024. There is nothing else that can entertain me. Like, There's nothing on Netflix that I find entertaining. There's nothing on Amazon that I find entertaining. There are no other video games that I like. This is just the only video game that came out. I played the demo. I was entertained. And on top of that, I see the game journalists melting down. I see all the people that I dislike on Twitter melting down. So the entertainment is exponential. Oh no, I did it in front of the wife as well. Like, in front of the wife, I did the purchase. Much to her horror and dismay. But like, it is my hobby. And I told my wife, I haven't spent anything on my hobby in ages, and now I'm doing it. Because she had to see it, because she was using the television. And after I read about the racismus, I went downstairs, I plugged in the PlayStation. My wife is like, what are you doing? And I'm like, something bad, dear. You're going to pucker your butthole now? You're going to pucker it? But like, it is what it is. And I bought it. And she's like, are you going to make money out of it? And I was like, no. This is my guilty pleasure. I will not learn how to play it on stream. I will not enjoy it on stream. I will play this by myself. I will pull the drapes. I will make darkness in my room. And I shall play this game until I finish it. It's not even tax deductible, no. No, but unironically though, the biggest entertainment is not the game itself, is to see all the people that I dislike freaking out about it. That is peak entertainment. Will I make money out of it? I don't think I will. I'm not going to stream it. I'm not going to stream it because I want to enjoy it. It's for myself. Should ask her what she thinks about the booty. She says that the main character looks gorgeous. And she's very pretty. It's almost like every single woman that was on Twitch also says the same thing. Wow, she's so pretty. Yeah, I mean, you gotta understand, this is no different than the video games that were coming out in 2010. Thank you for the membership, Jacob Andrew. I appreciate it. And Tulik, now you can tell your wife you made money out of the game without playing it on stream. Well, I think the deluxe edition was like $80, so I did recover some of the losses, yes. But V, we want to see you play. I understand, but I don't know. Maybe I'll play a little bit. Maybe I'll play. The thing with playing a game, I will tell you why I don't play games, right? If I start playing a video game, my viewership drops dramatically. So like from 190 current viewers that I have now, I would go down to 50, maybe 60. It's simply the fact that most people like prefer to watch bigger streamers when it comes to gaming rather than me, which is fine. But then I have to drive it with 50, 60 viewers and finish it. So like that would be 30 hours of streaming. It's just, no. You financially cockweed your wife of V? Is that how it is? But like when she buys expensive clothing, isn't it the same? Anyway, I wanted to show you something hilarious, right? There was an artist that drew Naruto, and it drew Naruto improperly, much to the horror and dismay of many people, and it started an argument, and you're going to see why in a little bit. And as you can see, Kurama has undergone a couple of coloration changes. This is the interpretation of the artist. And what I said is like, what are you talking about? Kurama was always black. This is how Kurama always looked like. I saw it since the original Naruto. I saw it through Shippuden. I see it in Boruto. Like, this is how Kurama always looked like. Why are you complaining? American Outlier. When my manga take off and a game studio, non-Western, well, maybe I will, decides to make one based off the manga, I will find it funny if the journalists call me straight white male. And when they find out, but watch them justify and say I'm being a puppeteer. Oh, yeah, no, like, they have ideological explanations for why people do what they do. Like, for instance, they will say, women do not like Stellar Blade, right? So they will make this flat-out statement. And if you have like a woman that says she likes it, it's because of internalized misogyny. Like, there is no way you can disprove their ideology. Like, to reach this level of bigotry requires academic engagement. Like, you need the university to teach you on how to be such a raging bigot. So it's like, no, I actually know what women like. Oh, well, like, these women don't. No, you don't understand. They have internalized misogyny. Is the same with, like, black people. They would be like, well, yeah, but, like, they're suffering from white supremacy or some shit. Like, there is no way you can win. The thing is, though, I gotta say something about Boruto. Let me actually. I used to be a big Naruto fan. I really liked it, but I don't like the Boruto thing. And I'm not saying that Boruto is woke, heaven forbid, but it's just like bad writing. It seems like they're trying to force a story where there shouldn't be any. Like in this case, right? You get Kurama. The thing with Naruto was that throughout the first 100 episodes or more, it was about him taming Kurama. Like, he tried his best in order to try to tame and be friends and eventually work together with the fox. But now his kids just get Kurama. And it's already tamed, so there is no more work to be done. There's no effort needed. And it seems very shallow. Now, what's interesting is that I got a lot of people on Twitter saying, well, you don't understand, because, like, in reality, this is what happens, right? Like, in reality, you can have a rich father, and the rich father can just give his inheritance to the child. And I'm like, well, yeah, it can happen in reality, but that doesn't mean it's entertaining to make a movie out of it. Like, if I see a movie where the main character is just given everything, and he's successful at everything, that's not entertaining. That's not engaging. That's just lame story writing. Yeah, it's like Dragon Ball GT. I mean, the thing with this is that they're looking at it and they're like, okay, well, what was popular in Naruto? What did people like in Naruto? And they're like, well, they liked Kurama. Okay, well, let's give Kurama so that Kurama can still be on the screen, and let's give Kurama to Naruto's daughter. And I'm like, no, stop doing that. It's like, if you want to tell the story of Naruto's kids, like, Kurama should stay with Naruto. Because, like, I will tell you the problem with Boruto, right? Like, if we're into anime and talking about it, the main issue with it is that people still like Naruto and Sasuke. Like, they still like the original characters that they grew up with. It's not that Boruto and his sister isn't necessarily good characters. Like, I'm pretty sure if they would have started with Boruto back in the day, maybe people would have came around and liked Boruto, right? But most people still like Naruto and Sasuke. And they want to see Naruto and Sasuke on the screen, but it's called Boruto. So they want to talk about Naruto's child. But it's kind of difficult to get Naruto's child to be likable when Naruto is still in the same fucking universe. So they constantly have to nerf the main characters. They constantly have to nerf Naruto. They constantly have to nerf Sasuke. I mean, I was looking at the fight that they had with this alien. And they had to remove a lot of Sasuke's powers just to make it so that Boruto comes in and manages to save the day. Because, like, if Sasuke would have used all his powers, like, the guy would have been BTFO. And this is the problem that they're having. They're having the problem that, well, people like the old characters and they want to make the new characters likable. But in order to do that, they constantly, like, takes that, okay, well, people like Naruto because of the Nine Tails. Okay, well, give the Nine Tails to his kids. You know, it's kind of like that. So it's bad storytelling. I definitely think that this would have been, like if, instead of making Boruto, they would have been a lot more successful if they would have maintained the story in the Naruto universe, but it happened like 300 years in the future, and completely different characters. And maybe you hear like some legends about, you know, what Naruto accomplished after he became Hokage, stuff like that, but just keep it the fuck away from the original cast and just make a completely different spin-off. I think Attack on Titan did that. Like, Attack on Titan has a spin-off that takes place before they develop the omnidirectional gear. So it's very political and it's not very successful, but still, it's a lot better than Boruto. Like when Akira Toriyama tried to make Dragon Ball Z about Gohan. Yeah, you can't do that. You literally just cannot do that. You cannot force people to like a character. And I'll tell you this, in my video game, I got 4 succubis. And I can't decide which one the public is going to like the most. Like, I have my favorite, of course. And just because I like her doesn't mean that people will. So, it is what it is. I wonder if George R.R. Martin feels the same, because he's got a lot of characters, like, he probably has his favorites, but you can't force people to like something that they're not into. I found out how to, someone sent me how they managed to trick the AI in order to create black people in prison. So, like, if you go to Meta AI and you ask it something like, can you make a black person sitting in a prison cell? It will say something like, due to safety reasons, I cannot do that. So what people are doing is, like, they're slowly tricking the AI. It's like, all right, make this person younger. And they're making him younger. Make him a tan darker. Not dark enough, darker. Sun has compelled his skin to produce more melanin. It is, like, there are people out there that just like to tinker with the AI safety. Just want to find out ways in order to bypass. The only reason I stuck with Boruto was the in media res scene with Boruto and Kawaki in the first episode. Oh, they actually had this stuff where Boruto goes back in time and it's Naruto and Sasuke that are still young and shit. And I'm like, oh god, like, you guys are so fucking desperate, aren't you? You are so fucking desperate. The thing is, like, Dragon Ball GT did the same. Like, oh, okay, it's Kid Goku again. And now Kid Goku is going around the universe, and they realize, well, actually, like, people didn't really like people like Dragon Ball, but they like Dragon Ball Z more, right? So, because, like, the thing is with Dragon Ball GT, alright, let me pull it up. They had the same issue, the problem of success, I guess. It's like, you want to make more, but you get writer's block, you just don't know what to create. So, Dragon Ball GT, where the fuck is it? Oh yeah, here it is. Like, people wanted more Dragon Ball Z, right? But the writer, he wanted to go back to the roots. And he liked the original Dragon Ball, where you have, like, Kid Goku, you got little Goku going around and having, like, these bizarre, crazy, wacky adventures. And it wasn't that serious. It wasn't, oh, the Earth is about to destroy. No, it's like, oh, it's just going around, searching for the Dragon Balls and making friends and stuff, right? Now, the problem that they're having is that the public didn't want that. No, the public wanted more Dragon Ball Z. They wanted, Vegeta going around punching people. That's what they wanted. So, they start Dragon Ball GT. Viewership drops dramatically. And then they're like, okay, well, let's give Goku Super Saiyan level 4 and he becomes an adult during that. But when the transformation is finished, he becomes back into a child. And the thing is, like, when they started doing this shit, the show actually was getting good. Like, I actually like the part of Dragon Ball GT that they tried to emulate Z. But unfortunately, it was too late. Like, people were dropping, so they didn't have enough money to continue, and that was that. And also, like, another thing that I hated about Dragon Ball Z, about Dragon Ball GT, and I think Dragon Ball Super has the same problem, and Boruto had the same problem when I was watching. In Dragon Ball GT is that for a fact that when Goku goes Super Saiyan, he beats up everyone. So, in Dragon Ball Z, there was tension. Right? Like, you have Cell, and Cell is undefeated. He wants to destroy the Earth. He beats up everybody. Who's going to defeat him? How are they going to do it? Right? So, like, there's the tension that keeps you glued to the screen. And Dragon Ball GT is like, oh, well, Goku is getting beaten. He's being trashed around. But then he goes Super Saiyan and he wins easily. And this is like the story of so many episodes. It's like Goku just goes Super Saiyan and one punches stuff, and it's like, okay, well, you removed all the tension. In Boruto, it's Naruto comes up, right? So like Boruto's dad comes up and he solves any problem because he's so fucking powerful that, you know, like there's no tension again. At least when I was watching, because after that it changes. But like when I was watching for the first 100 episodes or so, it's like, well, yeah, but like Naruto is still there, right? So even if you have like the worst bad guy, you have like the biggest baddie, the worst villain, well, that's fine, because Naruto eventually will come around and kick his ass. And then you have Dragon Ball Super, which has Beerus. And Beerus is like this very powerful figure, but he's friends with Goku. I mean, fuck, Xenos is friends with Goku. So you have like the exact same problem. It's like, no matter the villain, no matter how bad they are, no matter what, well, you still have the Xenos, or you have Beerus coming out. So you remove all the tension. You remove all the tension, there's no more suspense, there's nothing. And not to mention, by the time you get Dragon Ball Super, everyone can resurrect, everyone can revive, death isn't permanent. So like, yeah, there's no more tension. And this is what I think the writer never really understood. I mean, he's an amazing writer, but he never made something as great as Dragon Ball Z again. It's because he didn't understand the fact that, well, tension was great in the beginning. Sounds like Voltron. It sounds like miniseries. I think George R.R. Martin realizing that Daenerys is his most popular character, and where the story ends is stopping him from finishing the books. You think it's like Eren with the rumbling, like he knows that the destiny must happen, but I don't know if Daenerys was the most popular character. I think the showrunners were trying to make Dany the most popular character. And Dany is the most popular character because that's what the female audience likes for some reason. And the soy boys, they like Dany. And I will tell you why they like Dany. You can tell it in one picture. You know when they say, oh, this is like a male power fantasy? Hold on. Let me see if I can find the absolute oh, this is okay. So you know what they say? Oh well, this is a male power fantasy. I think this is the example of a liberal woman's power fantasy. This is what liberal women that vote Democrat view themselves as, right? So the moment this was on the screen, the moment like this was the set, that's it. That's when Dany became #1. That's what everyone, oh my god, Dany, I'm going to name my child Dany. Oh, Dany this, Dany that, Dany. Because of this. Up until this scene, like, yeah, she was a liked character, but she wasn't the best. Like, a lot of people liked Tyrion, and a lot of people liked other characters. But after this scene, I'm telling you, it was like this one thing, this one scene. This blew the mind of the progressives, and it made her into the most liked character in all universe. Yeah, the white savior complex. With Naruto, the fox always bails him out. Yeah, but like in the beginning, it was a little bit risky, because like the fox bails him out, but look, he almost broke Sakura's neck. He loses control, he attacks everyone. Look, he gave these cars to Jiraiya. Like, using the fox actually had some drawbacks, so. Who doesn't like the driving school filler from Dragon Ball Z? That was like really good. Yeah, like the Dragon Ball Z school driving test was great. Yeah, and ironically, I genuinely like Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones. The thing with Dany that I found interesting, Dany was the reason that I started watching Game of Thrones. And by the way, like Dany, a character like her would never be allowed to be on television today, right? Like, her entire thing is that in the first episode, she's, she's being treated as a slave despite the fact that she's a queen, and her brother sells her off to this Khal. And the brother says that, I would allow the Khal and his men and his horses to have their way with you if it means getting back my Iron Throne. And you're instantly captivated because you're like, how is she going to escape? Right? Like, she's at the lowest of the low, and you're like, well, how is she going to make it out? What is she going to do? And then she manages to get the Khal to fall in love with her, and then she manages to get the Khal to kill her brother, and now she's like really powerful and respected and all of that stuff. And that's like a relatable story, and it's really nice, you know, like this great growth, and you're like, wow, this is good. And that's what got me to watch Game of Thrones. Today they wouldn't do that. They would be like, oh my god, the rape on television? Oh, horrible. No, 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 no. Dios mío. She can't keep getting away with it. Oh yeah, but like the thing is, in the books, Danny makes so many mistakes. Like for instance, I think they actually had this in the movie a little bit, but the conversation is a lot deeper in the books. When she takes over Marine, she kills all the noble families, and there's this guy, and it's a very emotional story because this guy says like, yeah, but my father, you know, he was a master, but he always fought against slavery, and he didn't like the other families, and he always made sure that we don't have slaves, and he freed slaves and blah blah blah, and you killed him, you crucified him, and then he realized, oh shit, I fucked up. but like the thing is, she's still arrogant about it. Like she is still very cocky and very dismissive to the guy. Like she just doesn't want to admit that she made a mistake. And then there are other things in the books as well. The dragons are eating children because again they're wild creatures, right? Like they're monsters, and like Danny doesn't know how to handle them. And yeah, they're going on the countryside and murdering kids and stuff. Like there's a lot of other fuck ups that Danny is doing, but my favorite one is that these cities that she liberated were in the middle of the desert, and they don't have agriculture. Like the only thing that they did was like trade slaves, and that's how like they were getting money for the slave trade, and they were importing food in order to feed themselves. So after the slave trade was ended, you had slaves that were starving to death. And Danny is shocked. It's like, wait, I freed the slaves. Like, why do you still work for the master? And the slave was absolutely terrified that Danny would, quote unquote, free him again, because he was saying, like, no, like, the master is feeding me. Like, I will starve to death if I am not. And then she goes, like, well, if it's consensual, that's fine. But it's interesting, right? Because R.R. Martin understands how humanity works, understands like a lot of things, and knows that it's not just black and white, and you can't just, you know, snap your fingers and magically make it okay just because you came in. Because that's what the movie shows, right? Like the TV shows, like, oh, well, she broke the door, she's now in the city, and everyone is fine. Like for instance, George R.R. Martin, in the last book, would probably have conflicts with the Dothraki. Like, you can't just bring the Dothraki into Westeros and expect them not to rape and pillage. In the TV show, the Dothraki just sit next to Daenerys like bodyguards, and they have frowny faces. But other than that, they're completely docile. They do literally everything that she asks. They don't go around pillaging the countryside. They don't get into fights. They don't do any of that. They're like some of the most docile, well-mannered Secret Service in Westeros. I don't know how Dany feeds them. I don't know how she feeds their horses. I don't know how she manages to have any logistics or anything like that. But I guarantee to you, if George R.R. Martin finishes the books, he would probably address these things, which is why the books are so great. Apparently, Hassan Piker, people are telling me, I don't know how true it is, but apparently he did have a warrant for him that was now cold stored. He did post a meme of the gun that murdered, that was used in the assassination of Abe from Japan, and he posted to an American senator. But I was like absolutely sure nothing would happen to Hassan. I don't think he's going to finish the books either. Like the whole thing, right? Like you're an artist and you're very excited about the plot twist you're going to have in your books, right? And you're planning this probably for years on end. And all of a sudden you have like these chuckleheads that decide to make your book into a show, and they screw it up. Right, so you see how the people react. You see how how negative the ending is being received. I do think that this is what George R. R. Martin is experiencing. But to be fair, yeah, this is what I don't get. You know, George R. R. Martin, he's an elderly man. Like he doesn't have to go to work every morning, right? Especially not after the Hollywood deal. Was it so fucking difficult to finish the books in the years that were there? Like, how many years? It's like 7 seasons? He had 7 years in order to finish the books. Like, come on. You can't finish it in 7 years? So, yeah, it is his fault. Because the thing with Dumb and Dumber, the people that were making the show, is that they ran out of material, so they had to create, and they had to create with feminists breathing down their necks. Because, like, this was the thing with Game of Thrones. In the first seasons, when it wasn't popular, it actually had titties on the screen, and it had certain themes that wouldn't get away, like rape and stuff, and incest, and all that shit, you know, like, the show had it. And later on, you have the feminists complaining and being, oh my god, why is this scene here? Why is this scene there? So basically, like, at the beginning, they were faithful to the books. But then as the feminists start complaining, they're like, oh, well, we actually want to show more female empowerment. And at that point, all the male characters become absolute morons. They become retardos on speedrun. I remember Sansa, right? Like Sansa Stark going to this blacksmith and being like, you do need to pat the armor, the plate with furs. And I'm like, why is this chick, who's a noble lady, aware of how blacksmithing works and lecturing the blacksmith about how to do his trade? And you get like many things like that. Oh my fucking god, the one that where they want to make Sansa Stark seem smart. Where Jon Snow comes to fight her battles against Ramsay, and she basically writes a letter to Littlefinger for help, and she doesn't tell Jon Snow about this. Like, she just flat out doesn't want to tell him, and it's like, well, you think that it would help in the strategy of the battle if he knew that the knights are coming, so that maybe, you know, they can meet together, and then... No, she doesn't do that, right? She keeps that a secret. And it was also the whole conversation. Like, she goes to Jon Snow and is like, you shouldn't trust Ramsay. And Jon is like, well, I'm not... What do you mean? He's going to do something. I know him. And it's like, how the fuck do you know Ramsay? Like, you didn't fight battles with him. You were in his bed, locked in his bedroom. What the fuck? You know, like, nothing makes sense. And she's like, no, you don't understand. I know Ramsay better than you. He's going to be up to something. And it's like, well, what do you want me to do? And she's like, well, I'm not a warrior. I don't know. And it's like, well, so why the fuck are you here? Like, what is the point of this conversation? And then it's like, after Littlefinger comes, she's like, I didn't know I could trust you. And it's like, he came all the way from the wall in order to fight your battle. And you don't know if you can trust him. Like, what do you think he was about to do? What does even trust mean in this setting? But this is Dumb and Dumber writing. Like, nothing made sense. A dumb writer cannot write a smart character. They have to make other characters dumber. Exactly. Like, all the characters were absolutely dumb. All the characters, like, from season 7 forward, from season 6 forward, they became so dumb. All the male characters were drooling idiots. My favorite was Varys. Like, Varys is the spider, right? Because he has webs within webs, and he's very conniving, and he's got plans within plans. And what do we see in one episode? He's like, oh, I tried to poison the queen, but the queen doesn't want to eat her food. That's okay. We'll try again tomorrow. It's like, don't you think you should run away or something? Like, why are you even in the same castle with her? Like, you're trying to assassinate her and she doesn't eat the food. Like, that's a big alarm bell. And then he has absolutely no backup plan, no nothing. He's just there, and it's like, oh my god, this is the worst writing ever. We don't try to make sense of it. You are just hurting your brain. Oh my god, and the last scene with Arya. That like Arya literally from the ether just drops down onto the Night King. Like they just there's nothing, because this is the hilarious part. Like let me see if I can find it. Which again, like this whole even the actress Maisley Williams, who plays Arya Stark, even she was like, yeah, it just didn't feel right when I did it. It didn't feel right because I thought that this is this was like Jon Snow's whole quest line. It was his thing with the Night King. Like, what? Why was I the one that killed him? But it's not even that. Like, it's not just the writing that's bad. It's the cinematography as well. So like, nothing made like this scene just flat out didn't make sense. Like, this was the most forced things in the entire television history. So the whole thing was that Bran was next to the tree in his wheelchair, and all of the zombies were surrounding the tree. Like, they had this massive circle. So you just imagine. Hold on, let me see if I can get paint. So the circle are the zombies, right? Like there's zombies upon zombies forming a circle, and in the middle is the tree, right? So this is where the tree is at. Hold on, I'll make the tree as a little circle. This is where the tree is at, and Bran is sitting next to the tree, right? So Bran is like this little dot here. This is where Bran is, right? And he's now surrounded. Like, this is a courtyard. There's nothing. There's no buildings. There's no other trees. It's just like a wall of zombies. And this is Bran sitting in his wheelchair, and this is the tree. Now, the Night King, for some fucking reason, doesn't send zombies, doesn't send anything. He comes himself in order to kill Bran, right? Like, the Night King is walking around to kill Bran, and the Night King sits here, right? Like, this is the Night King. And he's about to kill Bran when Arya Stark jumps. Like, literally, she comes, because I was looking at it, like, several times. I just didn't understand. I was reviewing it at the time. But, like, she literally just drops from the fog, like, from the sky. Assassin's Creed style. You know, but, like, in Assassin's Creed, at least you gotta climb on a building in order to do it. But she appears from, like, this angle. So, basically, she went through all the zombies. And then, like, I don't even know how she did it, because you can look at the size. Like, Maisley Williams was half the size of the Night King, but she comes like from this angle. She comes from the sky and just manages to fall, and she catches her. He catches her. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, the cinematography doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, it's one thing when you're writing bad characters and they have motivations that don't align and all of that, but like, here even the environment didn't make sense. Yeah, literally, like a wraith of death, she appears from nowhere. She climbed the boom microphone, yes. No, the thing is, like, it's fine if she did magic. But, like, the only thing that she could do was to change faces. And it would make sense if she looked like a zombie and managed to go through, but like, we know that the zombies were attacking her regardless, so it's like she didn't have the ability to sneak past the zombies. So like, the first question is like, how did she sneak past the zombies? And the second question is like, where did she got up in order to do that jump? The thing was, if you really wanted this scene, right? Like, if you really wanted Arya Stark to do this, like, that's fine. I mean, it's not fine from a story perspective, but like, okay, you wanted her to do this? That's okay. Why not have this happen next to the castle wall? Like, literally, you got Bran in a wheelchair, like, his back is against the castle wall or something, and then Arya jumps from the castle wall, and it makes sense. I'm starting to wonder why they filmed it during the dark, like how much other shit they were trying to hide. Oh, yeah, and the other thing is, like, a girl is no one. Like, the entire stuff of the dojo was that they wanted to get her to forget that she is Arya Stark. And at the end, when she finally, like kills the waif, and she goes like, "I am Arya Stark," oh wait a minute, and it's like, finally, a girl is no one. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, she literally just killed the waif because she is Arya Stark, and she's got needle in her hand, which you throw it away. Yeah, it wasn't even bad writing, it was atrocious writing. I mean, I think that at the end, especially towards the last season, everyone stopped caring. Like, everybody stopped caring. The actors stopped caring. Dumb and Dumber stopped caring. The producers stopped caring. They even had, like, 2 scenes. One of them, there was a Starbucks coffee on a table. I mean, that is the peak highlight of not caring. Like, how can none of the actors, none of the staff notice that there is a Starbucks coffee cup on the table? And the second one, another episode, they left sparkling mineral water next to a chair. They had, like, all these people, talking after the battle, and there was bottled water next to the chair. Like they genuinely stopped caring. And the epilogue, oh my fucking god, it's like, oh yeah, sure, Winterfell gains its independence, but the Iron Islands don't. And no one has a problem with this. No one really complains. I mean, the whole thing with the Iron Islands is that they wanted independence as well. But I guess they weren't with Sansa, like they didn't have the star power. The last season was awful. Man, it's not that the last season was awful, it's that the last season was so awful that I just can't rewatch Game of Thrones. Like there were times when I wanted to watch something with my wife, and I was thinking, maybe I should watch Stargate, Battlestar Galactica, Game of Thrones, and every single time I'm like, no, I would really love to see Game of Thrones again. But my fucking god, I know where it's going, like I know that the first seasons are amazing, and they're definitely worth a watch, but then like the last seasons, and it's like, no. They were offered the contract for Star Wars and they wanted to jump ship. Yeah, I heard about that. Like, the producers for Game of Thrones were offered the contract for Star Wars, but the moment they saw just how bad the writing of the last seasons were, the people that gave them the contract were panicking. The first season is so good, it's so depressing to see where it ended up. Exactly. Absolutely. Anyway. Right. 1 more hour and it's Nikkei time. We get a new pilgrim. Wish me luck on the draw. I didn't save any gems. I can't believe that people save gems. You need to impulse buy. No gems. Anyway. I need to go do the dailies before the game resets. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. And I'll see you all tomorrow for D&D. Take care.